Yo, what's up, people's new age plug? Thanks for stopping by, bud. I've been meaning to catch some of your stuff. I just been so busy, man. I got so many channels that I'm sub to, but I'm gonna go in there and fix a lot of my stuff and stop. I'm gonna keep more focus on the smaller channels of the circle that I'm hooked up with. Cousin Paulie, what up, man? Philly in the house. I'm gonna wait a few minutes before I get started. This is gonna be a pretty short live. I'm just gonna go over what happened to me with somebody that was a close friend of mine at one point. He was a close friend of mine at one point, and he did the ultimate betrayal and wore a wire on me. And I'll get into the details. Driving New York with Skip. Daniel Ortiz, bienvenido. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. Um, I'll I'm gonna get into it. What it is, like I said, I'm gonna go. This ain't gonna be very long because we're supposed to be going on at the no-fly zone today in about an hour and 40 minutes. So I figured maybe 45 minutes here tops. Who knows? If the conversation gets going good in the chat or people got questions, who knows? But I got a couple phone calls to make, business stuff for my health insurance, and I want to catch them before they close. So give me 1 second, peoples. Appreciate everybody's patience. Again, thanks to those who have stopped by. I appreciate it. Um, I got a small channel here, so yesterday's live, I got like 18 in the chat. That was the most thus far. But I appreciate everybody. Everybody that comes by, spends time. They don't have to. You know what I mean? So I appreciate everybody that does. But we got driving New York with Skip. He's got a channel. He drives all through New Jersey areas, the boroughs, and you get a good eye view of the streets of New York. New Age Plug. He has his channel as well. I haven't got really to catch a lot of any of his stuff really yet. I know he does. I think you do some reaction videos on hip hop stuff and other things, right? New Age Plug, if you're still here. Jamie Rupert, thanks for stopping by. So, as you guys seen the title, this goes along with the video from yesterday, which was about dry snitching, what dry snitching is. I gave some examples of dry snitching in yesterday's live. I also told the difference between an informant and a cooperator, because it ain't no big deal, because at the end of the day, a cooperator and an informant still equals rat. You know what I mean? Still equals snitch, But this story here is going to be about an informant. And there's some things I want to say about that I haven't, that you guys will find pretty, I'm not going to say interesting. You guys will find real, just the fact that your friend tells on you, right? That's fucked up. But when I enlighten you guys on the rest of the story, you guys are going to be like, what the, it's a trip. You're going to trip on the whole story. No problem. Found you from Harvey. We talked in live before, in case you don't know. I remember who you are. Yeah, I remember. I didn't know it was through Harvey. I thought it was maybe through. Well, I caught one of Harvey's lives one day. A couple people were in there. Yeah, I remember exactly what it was now. Give me 1 second, people. You'll trip out on the rest that I tell you, Jamie Rupert. Watch, I'm gonna kick the story. I'm gonna start telling the story in 2 minutes. All right, so here we go. So I don't see this guy. His name's James. I ain't got no problem putting his name out there. He didn't care about what he did to me, so why should I care about him, right? I'm not gonna say his last name, but yeah, yeah. Let me know. One, if it's Jamie. Two, if it's Jaime. Uh, or if you tell me one male, two female, then I know if it's female, then I know it's Jamie. Um, so this guy named James, I grew up with him. He's a little bit younger than me, maybe between a year and two, not more than that. And we started kicking back a lot when I was about 17, 18, and he was about 16 or 17. I don't remember how much shorter he is than me. I mean, as far as um okay, got you. Sorry about that. I won't make that mistake again. Got you. Um he's not that much younger than me. His sister is about a year older than me. And the reason I bring up his sister, because you guys will find out here. So me and him used to be real pretty tight. I mean, he was rolling with me in my 72 Buick Skylark, in my 77 Oldsmobile. He'd be rolling with me shotgun. You know what I mean? I mean, me and this dude were so, tight. Like one time this kid like ran into my car, barely tapped it. He didn't even, like, he had a newer car at the time, and I was riding this big, a 72 Buick Skylark. It's all like a tank. And he barely taps my car. This guy gets out the car and he grabs dude up. He grabs dude up, man, by the neck. And this dude was his parents were, from the neighborhood. His dad was an OG. He was like a double OG back then. His father, his sister was from the neighborhood. His brother-in-law we were all hella cool with him. His brother-in-law later ended up being with one of my cousins, having a kid with her. And yeah, he grabbed the dude up by his neck. Then we got into it with these other cats where it was his neighborhood that he was originally from. And I don't know what happened. Yeah, okay, my oldest brother's born in 63. Yep, okay. And so he was from this certain neighborhood, and I don't know what happened as far as their internal beef amongst themselves from that neighborhood. I'm not from that neighborhood. He's from the north side, and I don't know if I don't remember if he actually got into an altercation with these guys or if it was just verbal. I don't remember. But and the thing was that he claimed north side. He was from the north side gang of town, but he grew up on the west side. So, there's a lot of that now and then. If you really look deep into some things, you'll find that a lot. The guys are from not even from the area that they claim. They would take the bus, if it's from a bigger city, they would take the bus over there and hang out with, the homies from that area. If it was a bigger place like Oakland, you know what I mean? But smaller valley towns, you can just walk, ride your bike, depending what age you are. So, anyways, these guys that were from the side of town, the gang that he used to be from, we got into it where we were passing. Me and him were in my car. We're passing by. I don't remember if I was in my '72 Skylark or my '77 Oldsmobile. But we passed by. They gave us some type of gestures, talking shit. And I don't remember. Man, it's been so long. I don't remember if we turned around or if we ended up meeting up with him a little bit later on another street. I don't remember, but I remember him getting out. And and these guys were a little bit younger than us. Their brothers were our age. Matter of fact, their brothers were our age, but they were a little bit older than us. And so these dudes were talking shit, and he chased them. He caught one of them, and this guy was a big dude at this time too. He was like 6 foot, probably 6'1", a good probably 250, and he chased one of them down, and he grabbed him, and I want to say he smacked him, and he smacked him. And so, I'm not glorifying any of this. I'm just letting you know how tight me and dude was, and some of the things he did in order, having my back. You know what I mean? He used to go with me out of town, and to family members of mine that lived out of town, and we would stay the night over there. We would get involved in the low riding festivities that was going on. So he was well known to the family. Plus, he was already, and in the area that I lived in, he was well known to all the family, my aunts, my cousins, everybody knew him well. Okay, so fast forward, maybe, that had to be like 97, 98, 97, 98-ish. So fast forward to like 2001, 2002, 2002, I think it was 2001 or 2002. I want to say it was 2002. I go to Home Depot, and I went there to buy something, and I run into him. Okay, well, I haven't seen him since '98. It had been 2-3 years, or 3-4 years, whatever that gap is, since the last time I seen him. Maybe 99 was the last time I seen him. Maybe 2000, but I definitely know there was a good amount of time from the last time I seen him till when I ran into him in Home Depot, and it was another city. It wasn't even the city that we lived, that we both lived in when we started kicking back together. And I was asking him, like, where you been at, dude? Nobody's, what's up? Nobody's seen you, blah, 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 whatever. He was like, oh, I just came out. I moved out here to get away from a lot of the bull. I don't remember if he mentioned that he was working. I want to say he did. We didn't talk long at all because by that time we grew apart. We weren't that cool. And, I wasn't with all that. I don't know what was going on with that. Okay. Also at this time, from the last time I seen him in 99, 2000, it was somewhere around there, 99, 2000. The last time I seen him, his sister, the one I mentioned earlier, got with my cousin that's right above me, as far as the boys, grandsons. He's the cousin right above me. His sister got with my cousin. Yanks, what's up, Yanks? And his sister got with my cousin, and they were together at this time when I seen them. Okay, so then I ended up, after seeing him at Home Depot, I ended up parting ways from him. I said, all right, I'm gone, later, whatever. I went my way, went home. One night out of nowhere, it's about maybe 10 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. It might have been 11 o'clock. I don't remember. It could have been anywhere from 9 to 11. He calls me out of nowhere. And when I seen him at Home Depot, I didn't give him my number. He didn't ask for it. I didn't offer it. So when he calls me that night, he's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, who's this? He's like, it's James. What's up? I go, how'd you get my number? He says, your aunt gave it to me. So my aunt is the mother to my cousin. So I didn't think nothing of it. She knew that we were cool. Maybe he did ask her for my number and she gave it to him. So that wasn't an issue with me. It didn't make me think anything of it. So he tells me, at the time I was indulging in extracurricular activities, if you know what I mean. I was getting my economics. I was bringing in my revenue another way than working, if you know what I mean.
jean, and he asked for a certain something. So I tell him, okay, meet me at Denny's on a certain street. I go over there, I meet him. He don't even have no money. Michael Moore, man, what's going on? He don't even have no money, man. He has this jacket. It's like a parka jacket. It's a blue one, which I didn't even wear blue at the time, but it was a nice, decent jacket for what he was asking for, right? He was only asking for like a 25 pop, 30 pop, right? So first thing I thought about was the guy that worked for me. There was a guy that worked for me that took care of the yard, and he would maintain my yard and stuff like that, and kind of like security in a sense, right, at night. And the only reason I'm saying that because there was a lot of bullshit going around in that neighborhood, in that area. It wasn't too good of an area. A lot of gun violence, a lot of robberies, a lot of homicides, a lot of attempted homicides, a lot of shootings. Put it that way. Still to this day, 20 years later. And previously 20, 25, 30 years before that, it was like that, and it hasn't gotten any better, per capita, because it's a city that has about 300,000 people per capita. It was the murder capital of, I don't know if it was US or if it was just Cali, but you're talking about it, other cities such as Oakland, Sacramento, Fresno, Richmond, that it was above on the homicide, because it was per capita. Obviously LA is a lot bigger, but it's got 4.5, 4.5 million, 4 million people. And, when you break it down per capita, Stockton was still coming out more. Okay. So so when I seen the jacket, I thought right away, okay, give it to, Doug, who worked for me. Right. Okay. So I did that. Okay. So keep this detail. This is one detail to keep in mind, right? He didn't pay me for the jacket. I mean, he didn't, excuse me, he didn't have money. He paid me with the jacket. Okay, keep that in mind. It's a key point that I'll have to come back to towards the end. Then, okay, so I gave it to him. Boom, boom, boom. Right. Then, and this is in the span of a few weeks. Right. He called this now. Fast forward. This is November sometime. This is in November. I don't remember what day exactly. He hits me up again. Right. And he hits me up at night, and he tells me that, hey, I need he said he needed a half gallon, right? Are you guys with me on that? You guys know what I mean by that? He needed a half O, right? A half O of the stuff. And I tell him, okay, and I tell him what I want for it. Okay. I tell him 300. I mean, excuse me. Sorry about that. I misspoke. I told him 200, right? So keep that in mind as well. So this is going to be our second time seeing each other. Okay, so he finally calls me, not the next day, he calls me the day after that. And he tells me, what's up, blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, man, I'm about to go out of town soon here. If you're trying to make this happen, Captain, be quick about it. So he says, okay. So I'm outside. I think I was washing my 69 Caprice. Fast forward to now, I have a 69 Caprice, and I have a 68 Cougar, Mercury Cougar. And I'm washing the Cougar was more of a muscle car, and the 69 Caprice was a lowrider. Okay. I was I think I was putting my rims on. I was changing my knockoffs on my Chevy. And he comes walking up out of nowhere. And I'm like, dude, were you? No, I wasn't getting No, I was not getting suspicious at all yet. This is when I'm getting suspicious now. So he comes walking up out of nowhere. And I'm like, dude, where are you coming from? He's like, my coworker's parked down the street. He didn't want nobody to see him. And later on, when I'm seeing my attorney, and everything's coming to light on what happened as far as who said what, who was telling and all that. They're playing me the tape of the wire that he's wearing, and I hear myself on it, like I asked him at least 4 times, like, where are you coming from? You know what I mean? Because it stuck out to me, and he just kept answering it. Oh, my coworker's parked down the street. So we know why the coworker was parked down the street, because they sure ain't gonna park in front of you with the badge shining, right? And there's a detective, so most likely it would have been a gold one, right? Okay, so I think I know where this is going. Yeah, you'll find out. Yeah, you got a good idea. So check out what this dude does. So, like I said, he wanted a half, right? Half. Oh, I was selling him for 200. Okay, he gives me the money, and then he ends up taking off. After I, get the money and put it with the other money, I noticed that he gave me 220. So he gave me an extra 20. Okay, later that night, he calls me on the phone and he's like, "Hey, bro," he goes, "Hey, did I give you an extra $20?" And I'm like, "Nah." You know what I mean? I told him nah. And then we hung up. I want to say that was like November. Oh shoot. I want to say that was like November 20, 26th, 27th or something like that. Thanksgiving already went by and passed. Okay. Now fast forward it to like December, first week of December. He calls me again. I tell him I'm going out of town. I'm not gonna even be there. Right? I tell him I'm not even gonna be there. And James Jameson, Double J in the house. And so I tell him I'm not gonna be there. I'm about to leave. Okay, so I had at the time my older cousin, and he's actually my second cousin. He's my mom's first cousin. His mother and my grandmother were sisters. So he's actually my second cousin, my cousin Jimmy, R.I.P. Jimmy. Um, he was living with me. Okay, so what happened was me and him getting in the car. We go down to the street to the store, and we go in there and buy a few things. And I think we got toilet paper. We need some toilet paper for the pad, so we went in there and got some toilet paper. When we come out, he runs into a cat that he knows from his neighborhood, from where he's from, which is a totally another county, definitely a different town, right? And so they're chopping it up for a while. I don't know when the last time they seen each other, so they're talking. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, we start heading from the store entrance where they started talking. Now we're over there by my car. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, these cops just pull up out of nowhere and jump out their car. They got their door still open, and they drawn on us, and they're like, "Put your hands up." And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on here?" And so I put my hands up, like not even all the way up, just like kind of like out. And one comes up, puts my hand behind my back. The other one cuffs me up. I was the first one they grabbed. Then they grabbed my cousin and his partner and his homie, and they take us all downtown to the PD, right? And so we're in there, and they held them two, my cousin and the other guy, for like 15 minutes, to maybe 20, and then they cut them loose. So basically, what they wanted to do was they didn't want to arrest me, put me in custody, and then them, if they didn't arrest, bring them downtown with me, they could have went and jumped on the phone and called or whatever. Who knows? I guess that's what they looked at it. So they cut them loose, and eventually that's what my cousin does. He gets over there or whatever. Somehow I think he called. Um, Keep in mind, remember I was driving when we went into the store. So what they did was, because there was an older man that I used to talk to a lot, that would hang out on the benches on the bus, the benches for the bus, and he would just hang out there and drink like a couple quarts of beer, 32 ounces, right? And so they used to call him homie. So when I got out, I ended up talking to him. And he's like, "Oh yeah, they took you and the other two guys, put you in the cop car, took off immediately." And he said one of the other cops got in my car and drove it. And what they did was they drove it downtown to the PD, because when I came out cuffed going to the county jail, my car was sitting there. And they asked me if I had permission, if they had my permission to leave it with somebody, which I told them, yeah. And this is about maybe 2 hours later, 3 hours later, they end up, booking me in right there, printing me and all that, and then driving me down to the county. And this is where the fucked up part comes in. So as we're in there, the cops, the detectives asking me like, "What do you have in there?" And I'm like, "I ain't got nothing in there. There's nothing illegal in there." I got a pistol under the bed in the safe. That's it, right? And I had a couple. What up, Lucky Loco? I had a couple. I had 4 pits at the time. I had my main female that I had for a while, and she was like my ace deuce. I had her on the porch. And then I had fun. And her name was Moki. I had got her already. She was like 8 months old. So she was already named, and they named her Moki. And then I had my little brindle. His name was Funny. And he was small, but he had a big head and a big chest for his small body. And then we called him Funny. And he was running around loose. And then I had my red nose red devil, cool. He ended up being my ace deuce, but at the time he was like 6 months old, 8 months old, and I had just got his ears done, so he had that thing around his neck, and I had him chained up. And the reason I chained him up was to keep him away from the other dogs, for if they're playing, that they didn't mess his ears up, with the stitches and stuff. And then I had a female in the back named Shorty that I got her already full grown. I got her basically to breed. She was full grown, and she was a real short one, and that's why I called her Shorty. Well, actually, the guy I got her from named her Shorty, but he named all the dogs Shorty. That was that size, right? And that's what's up. Blue noses are nice. Um, so so what happens is I tell the cop, I said, look, I don't have nothing there, man, but the pistol, and it's locked. It's in the safe, locked. I said, just take me back to my place. I will show you where it's at. I go, but don't shoot my dogs, man, please. I even said please, I think. And so this ass wipe, his name was Anthony McKee. He ends up going, they execute the search warrant, do what they gotta do. They come back to the PD after it's done. They don't even a couple guys, not a couple guys. One guy was also in custody, taken in from there. And they don't even tell me nothing. So I asked him, I go, oh, so everything went cool with the dogs. And he said, man, he goes, dude, he goes, they killed him. I go, what? He goes, they killed Moke, man. They killed Funny. I go, what the fuck? So I tell him, I say, hey, man. I said, what the fuck, dude? I said, okay, not only did I ask you, please don't bother my dogs. They're just doing what they're supposed to do. I said, there's nothing there but what the pistol, the 38 special under the bed in the safe. I go, not only did I ask you to take me back and I'll show you right where the pistol's at, I go, you kill my dogs, and then on top of that, you don't even freaking tell me? I was hot, right? I was hot. And he goes, he goes, he goes, oh yeah, well, if the dog on the porch got real aggressive and we shot her, they shot her with a 9mm, killed her. And Funny, remember I told you he was got a big head and with a big chest, but he was small. They shot him with a 9mm and a 12 and the gauge. And all he was doing was just mimicking her, barking. He wasn't gonna bite. You know what I mean? She would have maybe bite, but I mean she would get crazy, she would try to get crazy, just protect her, her which just doing her job, and Rojo was chained up, so we got lucky with that. Uh, and then Shorty was in the back chained up because I couldn't have her running around and her and Mo could fight. So they were all, only one I let run around loose was Funny. And so yeah, so that happened. They killed my two dogs, man, and so I ended up going down to the booking. They do all my print and stuff all there again, all that stuff, and then I ended up making bail before I even went to the back, to the housing unit. I made bail, and when I got out, that's I went down there to get the other two dogs out, Rojo and Shorty, and that's when they told me, oh, you gotta pay for the bill for the bodies being there, Moke and Funny, and I was like, what? I was like, when it came, I don't remember really how that went down, but it wasn't cool. You know what I mean? Those were my dogs, man. They've been. I mean, we've been through. They rode it out with me for a little while there. So, anyways, like I said, I ended up going down, and at this point, it ain't dawning on me that dude's the one that rolled on me. It's not even like I'm still not really even tripping. I don't know who it is, so I go see the lawyer, the public defender, and I fill them out and see what type of public defender. And the reason I say that because I had two public defenders in my criminal career, so called, that were pretty good. That got me, a lot of things dropped, and then I screwed up by continuing to mess around. Otherwise I would have been cool. And then uh this last time I went in, and the dude got a lot of things dropped for me as far as like it being dropped from assault with a deadly weapon on a sergeant and an officer, down to one count being dropped, and the first one, instead of it being assault with a deadly weapon on Sergeant Holman, it ended up just being assault with a deadly weapon on Russell Holman. So it ended up going from a assault with a deadly weapon on a police officer, 2 counts, down. It was amended down to just uh, assault with a deadly weapon on the person. Only 1 count. Second count was dropped immediately after the prelim by the DA because their stories were two different stories that they gave, and my attorney had them draw like a little map, and they drew two different maps where they were parked and where I was parked. So it worked, you know what I mean? But that was them, that was them messing up. But he pushed for my and also what came with all that, what they were going to try to suspend my driver's license for life because they're saying I used the car as a weapon, which that wasn't true, and I wasn't tripping on taking the time, the 5 years, 4 months. Hold on, people. Sorry about that. My little one came in, and so yeah, so they were gonna try to. The DA was talking about suspending my license for life because I used the car as a weapon to try to hurt these cops, which was total bogus bullshit, you know. And it came out in my preliminary hearing because the two bozos told two different stories and placed me in two different positions and where they were parked at. So how could that even be possible? So, anyways, immediately once the prelim was over, my attorney said, "Your Honor," and before he could even say anything further, or the judge answered him back, the DA jumped in and said, "Your Honor, we want to drop count 2, which was assault with a deadly weapon on the officer, not on the sergeant." And so the judge went with it and dropped it. So then he was going to become our witness, and well, not so much our witness, but we're going to use his exhibit B, his drawing, placing me where he placed me, placing himself where he placed him, and all that crap in our favor. Public defender got me. Not only did he get that where they weren't going to suspend my license for life, he also got me 2 years knocked off, and he got the charge amended. So that was cool. You know what I mean? So like I said, I've had 2 times have I had public defenders that really were good. You know, it wasn't just get them in and out. Yeah, right. Doing what a dog does. And okay, so when I go to the public defender, I sit down with it's not your public defender when you first go in there. It's somebody that works for the office that gets everything rolling, the paperwork and all that. And then I think I came back and then I sat down with somebody, and that's when they had the tapes of the wire when he wore the wire, and then he started playing it for me, and then that's when I knew who it was, right? Okay, but um the fuck the okay, so we ended up getting the prelim, and this guy named James never testified, right? But the narc cop, the cop he was working for, he did testify, right? Okay, so he's on the stand. Okay, so what I end up doing too, I end up hiring me a private lawyer named Robert. What was his name? Robert. Oh man, Robert. I don't remember his last name right now. His first name was Robert, and I hired him, and so he's up there asking the narc questions, the undercover cop questions, and so we already know who told on me, but he asked him the question. That way he had to answer. He's under oath, and then it would have to be put in the not the minutes, but everything that's said in court. I forgot what it's called. You know, they have to type everything that's said. And so he said, who is the, and this is the words they use, CRI, confidential, reliable informant, CRI, right? And he said, who is the CRI on this case, Mr. Detective McKee? And he tells him it was James, blah, 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 right? So I'm like, oh, okay, which I knew already, but like I said, that put it in the paperwork. So I have paperwork now with his name, right? And they start asking him, well, what makes this guy reliable? And they say, well, we've used him in the past, and he's given us information on people, cars they drove, where they lived, yada, yada, yada. And it always came back to be true. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? So that's in my paperwork. Okay. So then he starts asking, well, was he fighting a case? Okay, here it is, people. He had no case he was fighting. He brought me up and what I had going on to the cops. Cops said he had never heard of me, knew nothing about me, but that this guy who was supposed to be my friend and who's also supposed to be family now by marriage, right? My cousin has kids with his sister, which are his nephews and nieces, or his nephews and niece. This is one girl, and that didn't bother him from telling on me. So he wasn't fighting the case, and he went ahead and just did it to do it. Okay. So then from there, he says, okay, well, you said he's reliable. He's given you information before. You just said that he didn't even know. I mean, you didn't even know who Lou was, and you never heard of him. And he brought Lou to your guys' attention, and that's how you guys got on me to start to try to bust me. Okay. Then he asked him, okay, well, how much did he get paid? And he says $60. He got paid $60 to go in there that day with that wire on. I think it was December 6th. I think it was 2002. And so $60 he got. Okay, well here's where the other things come into play, where he's playing both sides, right? He's not even keeping it real or legit or anything, just chilling. What up, man? And what happened was, yeah, on record. There you go, rat bastard. Let's see. Yeah, like James Jameson said, on record, when they said who was the CRI, James, blah blah blah. What did James? What made him confidential, reliable? What made him reliable as an informant? Oh, he gave us information before on people's cars, where they live, yada yada yada. Okay, how much did you pay him? $60, he says. But here's where the other things come into play. He says the undercover says that before they sent this CRI in, confidential, reliable informant, James, before they sent him in to make the controlled buy, because it's considered a controlled buy. When they send somebody in to buy something from you and they're wearing a wire, that's a controlled buy. Actually, I don't even think they need to have the wire on. It just has to be somebody they sent in there for it to be called a controlled buy. But anyways, he says that they wanted a half O, and that I was charging $300. So they gave him $300, right? But you guys remember the story, what I said earlier, right? I was only charging 200, and he fucked up and gave me an extra 20, right? He gave me an extra 20. Okay, so he says, the narc says that the guy was searched for drugs, contraband before he was sent in. And then after he made the buy and came back, he was searched again for drugs and contraband. So what the hell? So was it a lie that they really searched him before? Okay, so before they sent him in, it's okay, right? He has a $300. But when he comes back, he only gave me 220 on accident. He was supposed to give me 200. So that's $80 difference. So did they really search him when he came back? Or did he put the damn $80 where the sun don't shine? You know what I'm saying? So that's, either, the undercovers either, not telling the truth under oath. They didn't really search him coming back for dope or contraband after the controlled buy was done, or he just played him. I mean, he played him either way, but he played me, right? But he either, what do you do? Roll it up and put in some paper towel or, tissue and put it up between his ass cheeks. He could have done that too. You know what I mean? Song whole lifer. Cool. Cool, Lou. I say mine. Igualmente, bro. Likewise. Okay, so that's $80 right there, right? Plus the 60 that they actually paid him. So that's 140. Okay. Now, remember from the beginning of the story, I said he called me and he traded me a jacket and I gave him a 30 pop. I think it was a teener at the time. He told the narcs, the Stockton narcs, that he gave me $100 for that bag, and they fucking reimbursed him and gave him $100 cash back. Okay, so now $100 plus 60, 160 plus the 80 that he didn't give me after he told the narcs that I was charging 300 for a half. Again, he was supposed to give me 200. He gave me 220 on accident. had the fucking nerve to call me that night, talking about, hey, do I give you an extra 20? Knowing damn well he just came to my pad with the fucking wire on, right? Which I told him no. Campbell Ford, thanks for stopping by. Which he didn't. So that's a total of $240. So he got $240 from Stockton PD to fucking come and tell on me. And he never. And the thing that burns me up is that he never even had a fucking case. The fucking chump did this shit just to make himself look good in the eyes of the cops and to say I work for the cops, because they said that he had been working for them before, and he proved to be reliable as a confidential informant. You know what I mean? So I don't know if this dude would just, and keep in mind, Stockton's it's a lot of areas are fucked up. Most all the areas are fucked up, but all in the south, the east, central areas, they got a lot of spots where they just sell all day. And, out of windows, out of side doors, out of corners, so a lot of times you can just walk up there and not even be known, and they'll slang to you. You know what I mean? So, that's probably what he was doing his first few times working. I don't know. But as far as I know, he never did nothing like what he did to me to anybody else from our area. Now if he was doing it out there, once he moved out there and he met other people, I can't call it like an alcoholic on that one. But it's just crazy. He didn't have, like I said, he didn't have a case. He brought me to their attention. Okay. When the cops hit my pad, they killed my 2 dogs and possibly were going to kill the other dogs. And then I had to go get them out of there. That was a lot of money, right? Then I had to bail out. That was another fight because my bail was $49,000. So that was another damn near 5 G's to get out, right? Then I had to hire a lawyer, okay? But not to mention all that, but say when they did hit the house that day, if they would have found any dope in that house, they would have got child services involved, and my daughter would have been gone. She's 22 now, and she was like 11 months back then. You know what I mean? So things could have got. That's why it was fucked up, the situation, but it could have been a lot worse. And the funny thing was, and it's another thing which I don't understand. The attorney I got, Robert, his name was Williams. That's what it was, Robert Williams. The attorney I got, he goes in there and he tells them that they're offering me a year in the county, right? A year in the county, which is kind of weird. I thought it would have sent me back to the pen. But when I did get to the county, when I took the deal and all that, I met a lot of guys there that got felonies that had way longer arrest histories than mine at that time, that were able to take 6 months, 8 months in the county, 10 months in the county. So once I got there, I realized that, that wasn't too uncommon, which I'd rather have went to the pen. Well, no, maybe not that time, because that time I was at the minimum security, the farm, where you can go to the store 3 times a day, Monday through Friday. Saturday you go twice. Sunday you go once. You got fountain sodas with ice. You got nachos. You got cheesy bomb burritos. You got cheeseburgers. All kinds of shit to eat, and on top of the spreads and all that. But yeah. So this motherfucker. So I end up. So again, back to the attorney. So the attorney's in there with the district attorney, my attorney, my defense attorney. He's in there with the district attorney. They're talking about a year. He says, how about first he tells them, how about probation, 5 years felony probation, no jail time? They say no. Then he says, okay, how about 2 months, 2 months in the jail and 5-year felony probation? They say no. Then he says, okay, how about 4 months and 5-year felony probation? They say no. Then he says, how about 6 months? Felony probation, no. 8 months, no. 10 months, no. It had to be a year, or let's take it further. You know what I mean? Now I could have, the pen probably would have been a lot better. I mean, well, not a lot better, but obviously anything a year over a day, as long as it's just one case, you'll go to the pen. They can run things bow-legged, which is consecutive, meaning if you can get say a year, and then in the county, and then another year in the county, ran consecutive, which means you do your time for the 1 year, and then your next 1 year starts. Now, if they run them concurrent, that means they get ran together. But usually anything a year and a day, you go to the prison. So like a 16-month sentence, you go to prison. You know what I mean? So I did it there in the county. I got a lot of visits from my mom, my dad, I think came once or twice. Brother would come. One of my buddies got out the pen. Next day he was down there visiting me. You know what I mean? So it was, I I don't know. I don't want to say it was fun, but it was all right being there. You know what I mean? But yeah, this motherfucker, man. So this asshole, the CRI, this guy was so uh, reliable, confidential, reliable informant, was just that, an informant, giving them information in between times. Hey man, what I mean by in between times is in between them fucking silver bracelets getting put on my ass and anybody else's asses that he set up. You know what I mean? This dude was, and then the other part of it, yeah. So not only he didn't have a case, and he brought me, Lou, up to the police and say, hey, I don't know if he said, hey, I grew up with this guy, he's doing things, I can set him up. That's probably what he said, because like I said, they didn't know who I was. They testified to that on the stand under oath, that they didn't know who I was, and that he had no case, and that they paid him $60 to rat on me. But because he played them before, lied and said he gave me $100 for that sack, when all he gave me was a jacket, right? And then the $80 that he kept from the total of, he told them that I was charging 300. They gave him 300. I was really charging 200, but he fucked up and gave me an extra 20. Then had the nerve to call me back that night asking me, hey, did I give you an extra 20? And I told him no. Okay. Then he had gave up. They also testified that he gave up information before on what kind of cars people drove and where they lived. That's what made him reliable in the past. Then like I said, his sister was with my cousin. Now by this time, well, let me see. No, because my daughter's 22. Okay, real short after this, they started having kids. Now they're married. Their oldest kid is 19 years old. You know what I mean? He just turned 19 in July. Then they have another daughter that's about 16. Yeah, about 16. And then they have another son that's 14. So they have two sons and one daughter that's this guy's nieces, nephews and niece from my cousin. You know what I mean? And he fucking ratted me out for no fucking reason. I mean, what the fuck is that? I mean, is that some weak shit, man? I mean, I've seen somebody earlier saying that was some coward shit. I forgot who said it, but man, bro, you know what I mean? Uh, Especially after all the times he, put hands on people in my defense, or however you want to put that. Smacked some dudes, cats around. He choked some other one, and then you're just gonna rat me out like that. You didn't have a case. You're just gonna rat me out. But then what was it say if they did find something there? And then my daughter got taken as well. Like I said, they killed my dogs. It was all fucked up. It could have, it was a fucked up situation, but could have been a worse situation. Yeah, despicable. Yeah, absolutely despicable. And now, this guy fucking, I haven't seen him. I think I've seen him maybe once or twice passing by, like from a distance, so I don't know what he's up to. But the fact that, he comes around, my, his sister, obviously, I know my cousin's been around him a few times after that. I know if it was the other way around and he did that to my cousin and I seen him, he got to take some, at the very least, because my cousin's not like, he's not about that, but he is a street dude. He's done a lot of dirt on the street, hustling and shit, but he don't run with the same people I run with. So it's a little bit different as far as, it still boils down to a rat, and I don't know the fact because, that's his wife's brother, or he gets some type of pass. I know he's never lived with him or nothing like that, or stood the night at his house, but I know he's seen him in passing when like he goes to his mother-in-law's house. You know what I mean? So maybe he don't want to disrespect her, but I know I would have had to do something. I'd have to, maybe, I'm not talking about kill nobody, but, smack him up, sock him up, for sure. Hit him with something, that's crazy. I'd be afraid of what I'd do yeah, I know. Yeah, I haven't seen him. So that happened that was November of 2002. And then when he came with that money, and gave me that extra 20, and then they moved on me on December, first week of December. Yeah, a rat is a rat. Yeah, that's what I was saying yesterday. What this dude did to me is what an informant does. A person that's on the street working for the cops, with the cops, however you want to state it. That is not a cooperator. Somebody that gets busted and then later on decides, okay, I'm going to flip and start telling on his friends or anything they got to do with the case he's in there for, or other cases, depending on what he's in there. It could be something minor, but he knows some big shit, and they'll cut him loose. That's a cooperator. And the only reason I did the video yesterday was to distinguish the difference between a cooperator and informant, because I hear a lot of people calling people they're FBI informant, but it's just different. But at the end of the day, like Jimmy said right here, a rat is a rat is a rat. You're still boils down to you being in bad standings with your folks, with your people's street. When it comes to the streets, you're bad. Don't get caught up in your neighborhood or any other neighborhood, because it could be all bad. It could be cookies for you. Meaning, when I say cookies, meaning that's it. That's it. That's all, folks. Who says that? Porky Pig, I think. And so yeah, that's what this fucking nitwit did. And not only did he tell on me where I had to go to the county, it also opened up for me to be on probation again, and then it ended up sending me back to the pen. I ended up going back to prison and getting stuck in the web for like 10 plus years. But that's partly my fault of how I was living, what I was doing. But you still just can't say, oh well, the dude was the rat. He shouldn't have did that. He shouldn't have done me like that. He shouldn't do anybody like that. So what do he want to? What do he want to be, a cop all his life or something? What do you want to be, a cop? And that's why he was doing this? I don't get it. Working for the cops, being a reliable informant for the cops. Bird is what he is. A bird is what he is? You mean like a canary? Singing like a canary? Yeah, that's crazy. It makes somebody want to vomit. You know what I'm saying? It's just sick why you would do that to somebody. They always say don't tell on your friends, and me and him were really friends. And then fast forward some years later, he's family now with my family. I don't consider him family. Fuck him in his ass. He's a chump. Fuck him. Piece of shit. Straight up. And and yeah, it is crazy. Timmy Henny. What up, Timmy? Yeah, it is crazy. I never heard of such thing like that. Motherfucker don't even have a case, but he brings you up to the cops and then starts working for the cops to bust you. You know what I mean? Can you imagine that? How they treated him after that? They were probably like all looking like, oh yeah, good job, James. You know what I mean? Who knows? I don't know. But straight chump shit, that's for sure. Big Lou just stopped in for a minute. Have a good one as usual. Good people in the chat. Yeah, thank you, Claudio Perry. And yes, yeah, matter of fact, Claudio messaged me last night, or actually it was early this morning, I believe, or that's when I seen it. I got up to use the restroom and I seen it. And the live that I did yesterday wasn't showing. And I knew it wasn't showing because yesterday I was trying to find it. And then I found it, but I couldn't. It wasn't showing in the video selection or the video section. But from one of my phones, because it's my channel, I was able to see where I was able to hit the button that says videos, lives, and then shorts. But what I ended up trying to do is I ended up putting it in the playlist. But then when I woke up this morning, YouTube released it to the video section. So I just guess, and I was thinking maybe are they tripping because of the title or whatever it was? But then why would I be able to see it and put it in the playlist section? So sometimes they do that. YouTube will slow play you on releasing a video so you can put it in, where others can watch it. Did he get an honorary badge? Yeah, yeah, tell me about it. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, did he always want to be a cop? And here he is. Oh yeah, fulfilling his dream. And he's fucking like, why would you fucking do that, dude? Like, why would you tell anyways, on some minor bullshit like that? But on top of that, why would you tell on somebody that you're telling on somebody you don't even have a case, dude? Like, and all the people, you had to bust me, you had to do that to me. We're supposed to be partners, we're supposed to be buddies, we're supposed to be homies, whatever, however you want to state it. There was a bunch of people you could have walked up on that was selling crack rock here and there, or bags of dope, and you could have done that to them. I'm not saying it's good either way, but I'm just saying, probably been at it for a while. Sounds like he already had a relation. Yeah, exactly. Well, remember when I was telling the story, I don't know if you're here yet, James Jameson, but I had said that I had ran into him at the Home Depot, and by that time I hadn't seen him probably since 99, maybe 2000. And this was 2002. And I asked him, I said, "Oh, what you been up to?" And he was living in another city, and that's where I was living at now. And that's when I ran into him, and he said, and I think I could have swore he said something about he was working, but he didn't say, "Oh, I'm working for the boys." The boys in blue. He didn't say that because he would have told me anything like that when he called me. I definitely would have been right off the gate, standoffish. Oh, he said, "Hey, Jerry Gambuti." So we got Jerry Gambuti, who is Italiano out of Australia. We got Steve Tortola, his papa. Steve, when you said your papa, you talking about your dad or you talking about your grandfather? Grandfather's no, right? So Steve is Italian from Canada, and so is Don Claudio Perry, our musical genius. He's also Italian out of Canada. That's what's cool about this. And then we got Joe Della Mura. He's Italian from England. That's cool. Let's see. Ford turns 60 of us controlled by Ford turns 60 of us controlled by. What do you mean? Lou, you pronounce my surname perfectly. Gamburi. Yep. Good day, Jerry. How's your corked hat? Yep. So yeah, that was my story I wanted to tell. I'm not really gonna say his last name. James is really his first name. Uh, but I'm not gonna go into details. I try to I got a little. I said couple little words about him here, but for the most part, I'm trying to get past that and not think about it at all, which I do usually do that. But it went along with what the lie was about yesterday, so uh, I felt to go ahead and go with that story today. You know what I mean? Had to pull out me knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Australia Foster's for beer. Huh? G'day, mate. Yeah. I gotta start learning some sayings though. Just woke up. Sorry, Lou. I'll play whatever I missed. Yeah, I'm about ready to get off. We're supposed to be going live at the No Fly Zone in about 45 minutes, but I gotta make a couple phone calls that are pretty important phone calls, business stuff. Like my health insurance. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Yeah, yeah. Paul Hogan, Crocodile Dundee. Yeah. Oh, let me see. Who's from Australia that uh what's his name? Oh my gosh. Hugh Jackman I know is from there. But isn't Colin Farrell any from Australia as well? Or is he Scottish? Or Irish? Jameson, you're yeah, I know you're Scottish, right? What actors are Scottish? Oh, I know Sean Connery, but besides is Colin Farrell Scottish or Irish? Foster's is popular for tourists. Try VB. It's from NSW, best state in Australia. LOL. No, he's Irish. Colin Farrell's Irish. Okay, so Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman is Australian, though, right? Hugh Jack. And Christian Bale's what? What's Christian Bale? Yes, yes, yes. Love this show. Thank you, Steve. Tortola. Tortola. Me dispiace. Andiamo a mangiare. Andiamo a mangiare. He's a Mike. Laugh not laugh. I was doing a video earlier on because they dropped on the Ric Flair has his own little podcast with his son-in-law. We have Kidman, Jackman, the guy who played the Thor. Bell is American, I think. No, Bell. No, I heard Bell talking the other day. He got an accent. Roscoe, chicken and waffles in the house. What's up, Roscoe? Uh, no, Christian Bale is from he's from the UK somewhere. Let me see if I got this right. The UK is England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland, right? Because I think the Queen passed away in Scotland. Robert Carlyle, probably what? Probably Scotland's best actor right now. Robert Carlyle. I never heard of that one. Big Lou, what's up, OG? What up? Just chilling, just chilling. No, I'm just kicking back, bro. Scotland has never had a vote. Scotland's never had a vote, but they're part of the UK, though, right? And then am I correct on the what I had mentioned that Wales, Great Britain, Northern Ireland, and Scotland is part of the UK? You see, Australia is also part of the Commonwealth. We follow the Queen, or we did. Well, okay. Well, yeah, I know they used. I know they used originally. They used Australia as a prisoners, right? For now, we are. Yes, yeah. Just chilling. Hermano, sorry I made you wait the other night. LOL. You're right. Okay, cool. Yeah, this turned out to be a cool little thing. Just Ireland isn't. Northern Ireland is though. I went to school with the actor Kevin McKidd, star of the TV series Rome. Okay. I'm Scottish and British. Okay, cool. Yeah, Ireland is not part of UK, but Northern Ireland is. Yeah, because remember that I remember the story of McGuigan, the boxer. He's from Ireland, Northern Ireland. I remember him talking about when he would go train how the British, the British, I guess I don't know if it was soldiers or just the British people were tripping with the Irish. They sent convicts here from Ireland, England. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Some do though in Scotland. Roscoe, orange shirts. Barry McGuigan was my hero. He was a tough son of a gun, man. Too bad that relationship between him and his was his manager ended up going bad. But I think they tried to make up not too long ago. The old man is old now, if he's still alive. But I know when I seen that story, it was a Barry kind of like Barry McGuigan's documentary kind of. They got some bad boxing documentaries. McGuigan. They got Chris Eubanks, the father. Uh, Joe Calzaghe. I seen some good ones. Big Lou, he's your family now. No, he ain't. No, he fucking ain't. That's what he ain't. Fuck that chump, man. You know what I mean? I look. I won't deliberately go after him. You know, like I won't go searching for him. But you know what? He caused some fucking shit, and it could have been a lot worse. You know, Barney Eastwood, Yankees fixing to start. Yeah, I seen. Check every day. I've been checking. Actually, multiple times a day. I've been checking Aaron Judd. He's been stuck on 60. Hopefully, you know he cracks out 61 tonight. That'll be his 61st home run. Um, and I don't know if you guys caught this the other day, but I said it was Maris hit 61 in 1961, and now fast forward to today, 61 years later, his record is going to be tied and eventually broken. You know what I mean? That's history. All right, Jamie Rupert. Yeah, I'm gonna be shutting this down right now. But at the No Fly Zone weekends, we're going live at in about 45 minutes, and we haven't been on in about a month. And that's me, Carlos, and Nelson. Nasty. Barney's for that. All right, people. I'm gonna go ahead and tap out. Calzaghe is my favorite boxer. After Ali and Lewis, love Fury too, though. Yeah, my favorites are. You don't like? Isn't Josh Taylor Scottish? He could be Australian. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. I appreciate everybody stopping in. Do you think they'll bury? Do you think they'll bury Bonds him and just what? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think. Yeah, I seen that Roscoe Eubank Jr. and Ben got a different first. His name's Connor. His father's name was Nigel Ben. His name's Connor Ben. But Eubanks got the same name as the dad. Um, yeah, that's a trip because Eubanks been fighting at super middleweight, and Connor Ben was just a welterweight not too long ago. So you're talking about 21 pounds, or what are they, catch weight or what? I'm betting on Ben. Ben's pretty tough, man, but Eubanks is a bigger man, so I don't know. I don't know yet. I got to go and look at the tail of the tape and all that. And but yeah, but I appreciate everybody stopping in, showing the support. Be sure to share the channel if you guys can with your peoples, friends, folks, gente, uh, camaradas, comrades. Taylor needs to give that boy a rematch though. You talking about Ramirez? Shao, yeah. But be sure to catch us at the no fly zone in about 40 minutes. And with that being said, oh, the catch weight at 165, huh? So that's still 18 pounds for him to put on. Del Strain, even Lou, just indoors, man. What's up, Del Strain? Man, we got a lot of people from over the pond here. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I like everybody, anyways. But I'm just saying it's cool when you see that. The mixture of people from United States and also over the pond. It's cool. I like it. I appreciate you guys' company. Judge is at bat. You might crack it out. Judge is from my area. He's from San Joaquin County. No collateral. No Catterall. Well, single for Judd. There it is. Well, at least it's a hit. All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by again. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and tap out and be sure to catch us in a little bit here. All right, everybody. Thanks. Peace.